let me show you niceness. Caribbean queen, you whine and you look the nicest.
WEFM, the new fresh sound.
Cop Chat. You've got questions for the police? They're here to give you the answers on WEFM 99.9.
The world has become such a cruel place. Something is wrong with the human race. Preacher man say it's wonders and signs. We are living in the end of times. Where is the love we once used to know? Where is the kindness we used to show? The heart of man is so full of hate. Let's make a change before it's too late. Too much killing, too much blood spilling. Each and every morning, it's weeping and mourning. We've got to stop all the crimes, erase the violence, let our voice be heard. We can't sit in silence. The hope of tomorrow is in no use today. We've got to live in love. Crime and violence don't pay.
Welcome back, St. Vincent and the Grenadines. The time is 8:06, soon to be 8:07 here in St. Vincent and the Eastern Caribbean. You're listening to Cop Chat this morning. I am Ari, your host, and with me is Roleza, and we have two guests from the Criminal Investigations Unit this morning, Inspector Atlan Brown and Police Constable Ramon Smith. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
So the topic this morning that we'll be discussing is the duties of a CID detective, and that is Criminal Investigations Unit detective. So once again, I just want to say good morning to the officers here in studio. And where should we begin? What exactly is the CID?
Well, the CID basically is the Criminal Investigation Department that deals with serious offenses, offenses say like murder, fraud, deception, manslaughter, and the likes. So we have a pool of officers who are actually trained and skilled, ongoing training to do this sort of work. Yes, so that's basically one of the main role of the CID. Further to that, CID basically is to gather facts and evidence, crime scene. So sometimes you're calling to visit a crime scene. And when you get there, you have to look and be vigilant for any physical evidence that there may be. And one of the things that you got to do is secure those evidence going forward to successfully prosecute a case. Yeah, and investigating basically is to establish the truth, not because somebody comes to the station and say, Raman hits me with a stone. We need to establish what really happened for us before we go forward in terms of prosecuting. Yeah, and we prepare formal reports when we get complaints from personnel. So we would sit the person down, interview the persons, you interview maybe suspects, you interview potential witnesses, and to produce to move forward. But that's basically it. And when the officer alluded to ABH, he's actually talking
And
about
what's ABA? Okay.
it can be offense of wounding,
Mhm.
simple wounding. It can be offense of wounding with intent. It can be offense of, say, a grievous bodily harm, for example. So it's important that the person visit the doctor, district medical officer, and he will detail what sort of injuries that the person has. And then we move forward from there in terms of classification going forward.
Right. And also, when dealing with any offense, part of the duties of a CID detective is to also, you have to know the points to prove of the offense, right? That's part of your duty. So you have to know your offenses as a CID detective, right? So in terms of your ABH, you have to establish if there's actual bodily harm to someone. You have to establish whether there's swelling, there's an abrasion on the person's skin. So just some factors going forward. And as I said, this is to establish if an offense is actually committed, right? And we go forward from there.
Okay.
As the officer indicated, it's important that you know how to classify the offense, because there can be technicalities going forward if the matter goes to court. If you do not classify the offense correctly, so there might be some challenging times for that. But it's best that whenever there is a new piece of legislation comes into being, that officers are okay with it. For example, going forward. Another major thing of the CID also is to interrogate persons electronically, whether they be suspect or whether they be potential witnesses. There is legislation in place to so do. So, for example, if somebody wants to come forward to the police and give information about a particular crime, we would not say who the person is if that person does not want to let the public know who they are. We've tried and tested that particular procedure already, and it has worked very well, where we interview the person, we modulate the voice, the matter goes to the High Court. So, for example, if Raman gives a particular version of a story, nobody will know who's Raman. He will not go to court and give the evidence. That evidence will be given in an undisclosed location. Not even the investigator will know where that person will be giving evidence, because persons will be delegated to take care of that witness as it is.
Okay. There's something that you mentioned earlier about the classification of an offense.
Yeah.
All right. So is it a case where, let's say there's a junior officer, do they have, let's say, a supervisor, superior who would double check to ensure that the case is classified correctly so that it doesn't get thrown out?
Oh yes, absolutely. That's basically the duties of the non-commissioned officer or NC in charge of the department.
Okay.
He oversees what the junior person, he or she does, in terms of guiding them through a particular statement, classifying the offenses, how to gather evidence, how to do searches, if there's need to be. If the officers are not sure, we touch base with the DPP's office,
Okay.
and they will guide us forward.
Okay. All right. So you mentioned a little bit about training. What type of training is pertinent, I suppose, for somebody working within the CID?
Well, the CID has an umbrella, different section. We have persons crime scene unit, so they would go and properly process and gather crimes exhibits. We have persons within the IT department who deal with digital stuff. We have persons within the major crime unit who deal with fraud, for example. And if there's fraud assistance in terms of financial crimes, then we go to the FIU for assistance. So we have those departments that work together to make things happen in a successful manner.
Is this the biggest unit within the police force? Is this the biggest department within the police force?
Not really. I think our areas in numbers is bigger.
Okay. Okay. All right.
All right. So the last time someone was here from, I think it was CID, a caller had asked, do you take advice from the office of the DPP, or can you issue a charge without consulting with the office?
It depends on the nature of the offense. If the offense is minimal in nature, like a trivial offense, assault, bodily harm, a common assault, we can go with that. But let's say it's an offense of a murder, a homicide, unlawful killing, a manslaughter, somebody dies from an unlawful act. Let's say it's an offense of deception or fraud, those sort of serious offenses, or robbery, aggravated burglary. Then we touch base with the DPP's office, and they would guide us through the process.
All right.
All right. Any?
Yes, and yes, of course, I was saying that the work of the detective can be a bit painstaking, because normally when we have somebody into custody, we have 48 hours to play with that total investigation. And it can be sleepless nights, if you imagine. For example, we might have 5 suspects in a particular matter, and that person would want a lawyer to be present. You would call the lawyer would say he's coming at 5. You will not see him until 5 the next day. So those are some of the challenging things that we have to go through. And really, we can't really do the interview unless the lawyer is present, because he requests that person to be there.
I know that the US has Miranda rights. Do we have something similar here? Are persons aware that if they're brought to the CID, that they can... Do police actually tell them that if you wish to have a lawyer present, that you can do so?
Yes, we do. That's part of investigating a matter as a CID detective. Once you arrest someone, you have reasonable grounds to suspect that this person has committed an offense. You have to basically read them their rights, which is the judge's rule 2A. You will tell them that you do not have to say anything unless you wish to do so. But whatever you say may be put into writing and given in evidence. That is basically their rights right there, right? Before you put any more further questions to them. Because that all comes back to going to court. Whatever that person said, you didn't read them their rights, that evidence would not be admissible in court. So you have to basically read them their rights. Once they come into custody, you arrest them.
And what about the right to a phone call?
Absolutely.
Yes,
There's
absolutely.
Right to a phone
They
call.
have a right to.
There's right to a phone call. There's right to a lawyer. There's right to be fed. There's right to take a bath. There's right to seek medical if there's an issue there.
Okay.
So we must cover all those tracks. Otherwise, if you going to take a person to do an interview and you don't cover these tracks, that interview is not on board. It would be seen as the interview is being taken under duress. And that is what we don't practice. That is what we don't want. So that is why we keep training persons and say, hey, you need to cover all these tracks. So if one day you go to work and one of your junior officers is going to interview somebody, without that person having taken a bath, having had something to eat and the likes, or the person might be paid and want to see the doctor, the instructions would be to take the person to take a bath and then seek medical before you do any other thing.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's it. As a matter of fact, the Royal St. Vincent and the Grenadines Police Force have in its mission statement, as soon as you enter, your guiding process, how prisoners ought to be treated in all police stations.
Okay. And what about when you arrest someone for their own protection? What is usually the process there?
You arrest someone for their own protection.
Yes.
Right, I know.
You see, the thing is, maybe you are alluding to an issue where somebody seeks the police assistance to be in their care and custody. We don't have any problem with that. If a man say, officer, I'm living at North Leeward, but I don't think I will get a van tonight. But that is not an arrest. You can stay on the bench until next morning until you get a ride.
Are you serious?
Yeah,
I did not know this.
And I
sorry.
often heard that you can also request a ride home from police officers.
Yes, if it's possible, we do that sometimes. One or two ladies, or male and female going home. A taxi driver want to be escorted home. We do that.
So what I was referring to was, if you get intelligence that someone's life might be in danger, someone is planning to kill another person or inflict harm on another person, and that person may not have a good criminal history. If the police then steps in and will take that person off the street for their own well-being or maybe the well-being of the community?
Well, what would be offered? We would inform the persons as to what information we have.
Okay.
We would give them a choice if they want to stay with the police.
Okay.
And if
Oh,
I feel threatened, if
But-
if my life feels threatened, can I say, well, hold me for a little while?
Yes, there's no problem with that. Probably 2-3 days until you sort out things.
In a holding cell or?
Not necessarily in a
That's
holding cell,
interesting.
man. Just across by the visiting area.
Okay.
All right. And you mentioned the rights of the prisoner, right? You said that it's in all stations.
It's in all
Yeah.
stations.
And is it visible to persons who have been arrested? Because I don't know if it's a case for the officers to remember how prisons should be treated, or persons being held should be treated, or if it's for persons who are being held to see, so that they would know this is how I'm supposed to be treated while I am a visitor.
No, it's for everybody,
Mhm.
because the police force going forward now, we have to be inclusive of persons' human rights.
Okay.
We cannot police the place properly without including persons' human rights. That would be null and void. So across the board, police have to know their rights. The prisoner have to know his or her rights.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not only that the prisoner have rights, the police also do have rights.
Mm-hmm.
Yet the rights is for everybody.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So there's a question that was posed to us last year. When a police officer approaches someone, what exactly should be done and said, especially if you're not in police uniform? How would I know that it's okay to go with you as a police officer?
Well, you approach the person, you would identify yourself. I've seen cases where persons say, well, officer, I know you. And they all go because they're from the same area. Some people may put up resistance, but it's the obligation of the police to show some form of ID. You inform the person of what offense that you're investigating, you invite them to the station. Some people, again, may put up resistance in going, but there might be times when you have to take the person with you. Yeah? Because you don't want it to be a case where two people get in a fight, one gets stabbed. And a man tell you, he'll come the next day when he's right there and he'll go with you. It doesn't work like that.
And in terms of, let's say, arrested, does a male officer arrest a female? Is it supposed to be a female police officer accompanying the male? What's supposed to happen there?
No. As a matter of fact, some years ago, there was an issue right in St. Vincent here. But the thing is, a male arrest a male, a female arrest a female. That's why most of the time you would see a female in one of the teams at CID. So in case we have issues with a female, the female is there to assist. Or we probably go down to major crime and seek assistance, or you call another station to assist if it's practicable.
All right. So before we go to commercial break, let's refresh my memory. The duties of the Criminal Investigations Department is to see through the reports of any sort of crime,
Yes.
document it, and put the case together, and then send that to the court for processing.
Right. But before we get to the course of processing, sometimes some cases take maybe months
Mm-hmm.
to investigate.
Mm-hmm.
We probably have to wait on an agency overseas, probably for DNA analysis, for example. Yeah, probably for ballistic
Mm-hmm.
and things like those. Probably for handwriting expert,
Mm-hmm.
right? And things of that. So we compile, but we take our time in terms of compilation and see that the case is properly sealed. Best way going forward.
So we always hear about the chain of evidence. What exactly is the chain of evidence?
Well,
Okay, well, the chain of evidence. From the initial stages, you find any piece of evidence. The first police officer that comes into contact with that piece of evidence, would have to, it would be an exhibit. So that police officer would have to mark that piece of evidence, right, for identification purposes. And if there is another officer involved, say the person actually investigating the matter, you would hand it over to that officer, and that officer would later hand it over to the exhibit department. So that right there would be your chain of evidence.
Okay. All right. So we're going to take a quick commercial break. Remember, everyone, the number to call is 457-9997. Also, the number to WhatsApp is 457-9997. We'll be back with more this morning.
Do you want to feel clean or refreshed after using the bathroom, whether at home, work, or play? Welcome to My Smart Toilet Seats. All of our products wash your private parts after using the bathroom without the use of your hands. Let's hear what our national table tennis champion, Damian Dublin, has to say.
I tried it and it works. There are 4 options. Simply add an attachment to your existing toilet seat, or choose a non-electric seat, or better, an electric seat that washes and dries you with warm water and air. Lastly, get a complete smart toilet that also flushes itself. What are you waiting for? Get your smart toilet seat today. Be smart, be refreshed, be clean, be a winner like me.
Our smart toilet seat is available throughout St. Vincent at retail outlets with the orange flags. You can call us at 457-1703 or visit our website at justwashit.vc.
Yes, sir.
Our industry relies on all of us to play our part. We take pride in showcasing our beautiful island, our craft, our cuisine, and our warm Vincentian hospitality.
Each of us play a crucial role in showcasing our vibrant tourism industry. We can create spaces where visitors can unwind, connect with nature, and embrace tranquility of our beautiful surroundings.
We need everyone on board to help us create an exceptional experience for our guests.
Join us at our National Tourism Community Consultations as we shape the future of tourism in St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
It's everyone's business, yeah. Live it, love it, embrace it.
That's the sound of your animals. Strong, healthy, and delivering yields you love. That didn't just happen. It began with you feeding them only the best. East Caribbean Feeds. Rest assured, we only produce your feeds with premium ingredients. No hormones, no animal byproducts. Just everything your animal needs from maximum nutrition. Because your animals deserve only the best. East Caribbean Feeds from Maximum Nutrition.
ECGC has slashed feed prices by 8 to 10%. Check your local supplier for more details. ECGC, providers of feed for maximum nutrition.
Are you ready for the Untold Calypso tent? Yeah, man, we're heading to Russell's Auditorium for the opening on Thursday, May 30th, and for the second show, Thursday, June 6th, and for the preliminaries, Thursday, June 13th. The vibes is big, the energy is big, and of course, the cast is big. Mashi, Mansik, Zion I, Da Vinci, Mayamo, Patches, Koja, Abija, Azara, I, Exposer, Marvo, Roots Garden, Reality, Ninja, and the newcomers, Diamond and Kerry. So make sure for Thursday, May 30th, June 6th, and June 30th, you're getting ready to head to Russell's Auditorium for Untold Calypso 10. See you there.
Untold take over, we make it the area.
WEFM, the clean, fresh sound.
Cop Chat. You've got questions for the police? They're here to give you the answers on WEFM 99.9.
The world has become such a cruel place. Something is wrong with the human race. Preacher man say it's wonders and signs. We are living in the end of times. Where is the love we once used to know? Where is the kindness we used to show? The heart of man is so full of hate. Let's make a change before it's too late. Too much killing, too much blood spilling. Each and every morning, it's weeping and mourning. We've got to stop all the crimes, erase the violence, let our voice be heard. We can't sit in silence. The hope of tomorrow is in our use today. We've got to live in love. Crime and violence don't pay.
Welcome back, St. Vincent and the Grenadines. The time is 8:31 here in St. Vincent and the Eastern Caribbean. You're listening to Cop Chat. You're listening to Ari as well. And with me is Roleza. And we are discussing the duties of a criminal investigation department detective. We have with us from that department, Inspector Atlan Brown and PC Ramon Smith. So, gentlemen, what are some of the issues that you face as police officers in the CID department? Well, in the CID.
Well, we noticed recently there's a lot of people who are coming forward with issues with cybercrime issues.
Mm-hmm.
Persons may be in a relationship with somebody else, and the relationship might have gone wrong or sour. And then they started posting body parts of the person.
Mm-hmm.
It's a bit
Revenge porn.
childish, yeah.
Mhm.
And if persons have those issues, persons can be prosecuted for those.
Mm-hmm.
So we're encouraging persons, if they have issues under the Cybercrime Act like those, come forward and we would address it.
Okay.
All right. So remember, listeners, that it is an interactive program. Our lines are open. Well, phone lines and WhatsApp are open for you to pose your questions. Remember, the number to call on WhatsApp is 457-9997. All right. All right. So out of curiosity, can persons make a citizen's arrest here in SVG?
Yes, persons can do make a citizen's arrest, but one has to be mindful what kind of arrest it is. Under the Criminal Procedure Code of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, any citizen can make an arrest, but the offense must be indictable in nature. It must be a serious offense. It cannot be offense, say, of assault, bodily harm, a common assault, for example. Okay? Not even the police officer can make a direct arrest if that arrest is not committed in his presence. He has to be armed with a warrant. So if somebody comes to the station and say, for example, I was in a fight last night, or a man slapped me off, the police has to arm themselves with a warrant of arrest to arrest that person. If the offense is committed in the police presence, then he could make a direct arrest.
Okay, so if I see, let's say in the case of a domestic abuse, and I am the neighbor of a person, and I'm hearing, let's say, the woman crying, and well, not me physically, because I'm not going to do it, but can somebody, let's say, go to that, let's say if the person steps outside of the house, the male aggressor steps outside of the house, can they hold that person? And let's say the community gets involved and they hold that person, can that be done?
The community can get involved, because we never know what sort of injuries the persons might have gotten inside. The person might have been crying the last cry. So maybe it's best that, and we got that in the past where the community assisted persons, the police in apprehending persons.
Yeah, but that sounds dangerous. What if they're inside crying for another reason and you make an assumption and then you go to make a citizen's arrest? Isn't that assault on the person?
Well, sometimes we go by assumption and sometimes they are right and sometimes they are wrong. But sometimes it's better to take the best step forward where you think it's practically possible for the safety of everybody.
But in a case like that, would that be considered assault?
Well, on a case-by-case basis, we will have the discussion going forward.
Okay.
All right. So you touched on before the point of persons coming forward to give information. So let's elaborate a little bit more on that, because I know that the police have been on a drive to be able to, in a sense, mend relations or to bring relations a bit more together between the police force and the public. And especially in the cases of the fact that we have so many crimes happening, murders, etc., happening within the last couple of years. Persons sometimes say that they're not safe coming to the police with evidence or with information. What can you say to let persons know that they will be protected?
Yes, well, as the inspector mentioned, right, there are programs, there's legislation in place for that anyone coming forward with information they wish to, remain anonymous, be protected by the police. There's legislation where they can be sent overseas. They can give their evidence overseas via Skype. They could also give their evidence anonymously, where, their voice will be distorted, their face, blacked out. So no one can recognize them given that evidence, right? And as a detective, well, I'm working with the Major Crime Unit currently, right, which is an extension of CID, right? So we as detectives in that department, we're sworn to secrecy, right? Anyone comes forward with any information, no member of that department would say leak. And I'm trusting any member of the CID department as well. You won't leak information where you would want to come find out or bring closure to a family who has probably recently lost a loved one to gun violence. We're sworn to that. We're sworn to secrecy. So we're encouraging to the public, anyone has any information about any crime committed, whether serious or small, especially in terms of murders, just come forward with that information. If you wish to remain anonymous, you don't have to say your name, but you can just come forward, give the information, and the police would work on it.
And what is the means of coming forward? Because I would not necessarily want to walk into a police station.
Well, you can call the police station. You can call CID, which is the telephone number is 456-1810. Or you can call the police control directly, 457 1211.
Yeah.
Right.
71211.
Right, and you can give your information, what anonymously if you want.
What about 999-911?
Yes, those are numbers that can work and do work. But if the person doesn't want to, say, come to the police, arrangement can be made to meet elsewhere.
Okay.
Off the person's choosing and so forth. But normally, the police has to put in security, so everything has to be in place as well.
Okay. I will make the statement that in any workforce, we have been having the issue of the abuse of technology, for example, cell phones. Now, we're in the middle of the gun amnesty, and in that you have your town hall meetings and your walkabout. In a town hall meeting that you had in Glen, a resident came forward and said she does not feel comfortable coming forward to the police because she feels as though officers now on their cell phones or quickly message to someone else, or it boils back down to confidentiality, and feels that there's a lot of conversations happening via instant messages that make certain residents feel uncomfortable making reports.
If that is the case, and I mean, that individual to me did not really provide any evidence. She only go on her feelings. But if that is the case, that is really a no-no. That is bad practice for policing. You can put police officers in harm's way. Even the individual who is being accused could be in harm's way, because he will not be able to be trusted either by his peers or by persons outside. So, and then there's the area of discipline. If I'm quite sure if the hierarchy finds out about these things, then that person can be disciplined, and maybe they can be dismissed from the force if wants to be. Depends on the seriousness of that offense.
Okay.
All right. So we know that Carnival is coming up, and CID, I know on occasions they would do the outreach in front of the station where you would have an exhibition of sorts, right? And not just Carnival is coming up. We're also going to have an influx of visitors regarding the cricket. Give us some tips, and this is encompassing all of the various units within CID. Give us some tips for those of us who are here, and even for visitors come in.
Well, one of the things that we would like persons to do is do not walk around with an excess amount of monies that you don't really need. Walk around with monies that you want. So, for example, if somebody tried to steal your purse or or if your purse is lost, you will not lose all those valuables. Keep most of them in a safe place at home. If you going about with persons in terms of liming and so forth, know your limitation when it comes to drinking or smoking. Person may want to encourage you to take an extra drink, but you as the individual have to know your limit going forward, because there can be the things of maybe gang rapes and so on coming forward. And we're not living in an isolated world. These things are possible. Persons should not take right from strangers. For example, if you go into Otley Hall or if you go into redemption shops, I'm not stigmatizing any of these communities. If you go into Georgetown, if you go into Barley, and that person offer you a ride off your route, you should not, because that you don't want to go in that particular direction. Yeah? See?
Yes. Just to backtrack on what the inspector said in terms of liming with crowds. I feel in a sense too that liming in crowds, well, you lime with people that you can trust, right? Especially at nights. You know, people like to party at nights. It's always better to be in a crowd, especially walking, going home, especially as a female, walking, going home. You'll have that company, you know, which will act, you know, as some protection, you know, because persons would think twice about coming, whether to try rob someone, you know, seeing that they're in a crowd than stay by themselves. Right?
Yeah.
And in terms of like say like your houses, you know, people go to party, you know, at nights too. So it's always good make sure that you secure your house, your home properly. You know, if you have a neighbor that you trust, you can also, you know, tell them to keep an eye out for you that you're going out. Any, you know, any suspicious activity happens, could always give you a call, you know, or alert the police, you know, in the event.
And even, let's say, cash, because there would be an influx of foreign cash. I guess, in a sense, predominantly US dollars. What advice would be out there for persons, especially doing business with persons who are going to be paying with US? Or even, you know what, even the EC dollar, because, you know, yeah.
Well, as I indicated before, do business or carry the cash that you absolutely need, not the cash that you want. Do the business in a safe place, in a safe environment. Do the business in an area where you're comfortable. Do the business, maybe with a witness, maybe in a lawyer's office, for example, maybe in a financial institution. Work with one or two persons that you feel comfortable and safe with. Make sure that whatever cash or credit card or whatever you have, it's locked away, stocked away properly in a bag or a suitcase, for example.
All right, I meant more in the context of detecting counterfeit money.
Yes, we do have persons in house who are trained in EC counterfeit currency. I know Superintendent Ballantyne, he's in charge of the Eastern Division. He's one of the persons I know who have been trained in this regard, right? In terms of the US currency, then we would have to touch base with the FBI. Okay, we'd have to touch base with our current counterparts because we do not have anybody who specializes in that area. So any issue with US counterfeit currency, then the relevant authorities would touch base with the US authorities and they would take it from there. And trust me, they would be here.
Okay, no, okay, so okay. So I know when we're doing business with persons, sometimes persons would pay us in US, right? What should it be a case where we come to the CID, let's say to know what are the markings, to know that this is a genuine US dollar, a genuine EC dollar? Are those type of tips and training provided to persons just generally?
Yeah, sometimes you look at US dollars, you will see they're different in size. They're different in coloration. You notice 4 or 5 of them have the same serial number. That alone should trigger your thinking cap. So those are some of the tips. The texture of the money itself is not the texture that you normally feel. So those are some of the things.
All right, we have a caller this time. Hi, caller. Good morning.
Good morning to the operators there.
Good morning. Okay.
Caller, we're getting some feedback. Could you turn on your radio, please?
Oh, right.
All right, go ahead.
Right. Yeah, what I want to find out is the major crime. Is that a separate assessment in the CID than the normal office of the CID?
Okay, so he's asking if the major crime unit is a separate unit from the CID.
The major crime unit is part and parcel of the CID that is mandated to investigate serious matters like murder and fraud.
Okay. Yeah, there was another question. You spoke about citizens arrest. I'm wondering if let's say supposed to use indecent language. And the police, to the police, and the police tried to arrest, and that person run away and get away from the police. That is the indecent language. Can we say that in arresting that person?
No, because that matter is not indictable in nature. So we that's a no-no.
So I guess maybe break down and explain what indictable means.
Indictable matters are matters that are tried before a judge and a jury. That's a high court.
Okay.
Summary matters, like indecent language, indecent language, those matters are summary matters and they're tried by the magistrate. So the citizen ought not to get involved in those. If it is happening in the presence of them and the police asks for assistance, then they could go and assist if the police is having some sort of difficulty arresting the person.
Okay.
Some of these matters include AFRE, they include indecent languages, they include common theft,
common assault. We have minor theft, we have damage to property, which is minor. But remember, it spells out really indictable matters and non-indictable matters. So if the offense is not committed in the citizen's presence, they need to avoid doing the arrest.
Okay.
All right, call any other question. Go ahead.
Yeah, one more question. So in the case of indecent language, he run away from you and so on. Supposed to run away from you. And you run away from you today, tomorrow or next week. How we going to deal with that situation?
Yes, sometimes when a matter goes to court, we don't normally have to arrest the person. We could summons the person to court as well, once we know the person's name and address. Yeah, so it is not that every time somebody is going to court, we arresting them. We can summons them as well.
In the case of indecent, when you arrest him and you get away and run away from you, that's the point. How we going to get him to go to court?
That's exactly what I'm saying to you. If you don't make the arrest there and then, you could apply and get a summons and summons the person to court.
But if you think that, okay, you get away, you summons him and so on, and you arrest him and there wouldn't be a suit cannot do you pick him up the next day or the next week or what the case may be.
No, people resist the police arrest from time to time. So if a person resists the police arrest and they run away, the other methods in dealing with it, one of the methods, which was one of the best methods, is summons the person to court to avoid another fight.
All right, thanks, caller.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
All right, so at this point, we're going to take another commercial break and we'll be back with the remaining segment of Cop Chat this morning.
At Lynch Caribbean, yes, we offer comprehensive insurance solutions and broking, but we are more than an insurance broker. We drill down to your core business strategy. We keep a pulse on risk to keep your operations healthy.
On your mark, get set.
Along the way, helping you to drive competitive advantages. At Lynch Caribbean, we have your back. Contact us today for insurance solutions, strategic risk advisory, and more. Call 453-3300. Email info@lynchcaribbean.com or visit our office in Beachmont, Kingstown. Follow Lynch Caribbean SVG on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn, or visit www.lynchcaribbean.com.
Let's get your laundry clean and fresh with the widest range of washing machines and dryers in SVG. At Singer, choose between our West Point and Speed Queen brands with an array of washing machines with payments starting as low as $92 per month. Your laundry room wouldn't be complete without a Whirlpool or Speed Queen electric or gas-operated dryer, saving your energy consumption. Also in stock is our West Point washer dryer combo for only $136 per month. One machine that does the work of two. No need to change machines, just toss in your laundry and forget about it. Whether your preference in machines is top loading or front loading, whether you want a 9 kilogram or a larger 15 kilogram washer, whether you're looking for a gas or electric dryer, we've got it all at Singer. Visit us today and get the washing machine and dryer that's perfect for you. Singer, your family company.
St. Vincent and the Grenadines, it's a whole new world out there. Reaching new customers and getting products faster. That's what it's all about. Ocean freight rates are skyrocketing, so don't pay more for slower service. It's time to switch to faster, more reliable air cargo service with SkyMax Cargo. Up to 3 flights weekly to and from the USA, Puerto Rico, and the Caribbean islands. Providing excellent import, export, and e-commerce solutions to put you ahead of the competition. For special low rates on small packages and air cargo, contact SkyMax today. 784-456-5400. Local agents SwiftPack Interprime Cargo. Call 784-456-5400 to book your shipments today.
This moment is all that I've been dreaming of.
Well, focus. Join the vibes for the ICC Men's T20 World Cup in the Party Stand. Enjoy live performances by top artists, the hottest DJs, and so much more. Get your tickets today from Korea City Store, Kingstown. ICC Men's T20 World Cup, the vibes in the Party Stand. It's going to be out of this world. Get your tickets now.
Are you ready for the Untold Calypso tent? Yeah, man, we're heading to Russell's Auditorium for the opening on Thursday, May 30th, and for the second show, Thursday, June 6th, and for the preliminaries, Thursday, June 13th. The vibes is big, the energy is big, and of course, the cast is big. Marshy, Mansik, Zion I, Da Vinci, Miamo, Patches, Koja, Abija, Azara, I, Exposer, Marvo, Roots Garden, Reality, Ninja, and the newcomers, Diamond and Kerry. So make sure for Thursday, May 30th, June 6th, and June 13th, you're getting ready to head to Russell's Auditorium for Untold Calypso 10. See you there.
Untold take over, we make it the area.
WEFM, the clean, fresh sound.
Cop Chat. You've got questions for the police? They're here to give you the answers on WEFM 99.9.
The world has become such a cruel place. Something is wrong with the human race. Preacher man say it's wonders and signs. We are living in the end of times. Where is the love we once used to know? Where is the kindness we used to show? The heart of man is so full of hate. Let's make a change before it's too late. Too much killing, too much blood spilling. Each and every morning, it's weeping and mourning. We've got to stop all the crimes, erase the violence, let our voice be heard. We can't sit in silence. The hope of tomorrow is in our use today. We've got to live in love. Crime and violence don't pay.
Welcome back, St. Vincent and the Grenadines. This is Cop Chat. The time is 8:54, and we are within the last 6 minutes of the program today. If you're just joining us, we have the CID here, Inspector Atlan Brown and PC Ramon Smith, and we're discussing the duties of the CID.
All right, so I know that we had someone call in a while ago, so caller, you can call now and keep it under about a minute, please. While we await that person calling back, what are some of the final thoughts that you wish to leave with us as general public?
Well, we know going forward now, June, July, we're going to have the cricket, we're going to have the carnival. So we want to advocate for persons whenever they're leaving home, make sure that your home is secured properly. If you are going anywhere, maybe you could tell a neighbor. I know 4 or 5 persons might want to go lime in. Each of them might have a vehicle. We would not want to advocate that use one vehicle, maybe. I mean, this is just my advice to you. You're going to save gas, you're going to save some money. And you're going to have the additional company of other persons around you. As opposed to say, 4 persons, 5 going to Fish Fest, 3 gone in front and 2 behind, and something happened to 2 behind. You know, if you work together like that, it will be better for you. Yeah.
Just to bring up on something, is another thing that we do as ladies, or when we tend to go out, is you have to be accountable for each other. So like nobody falls asleep until the last person gets home. So in a sense, you have to learn to be accountable of each other, even if you happen to be taking your own vehicles.
Right. And you see, you drink responsibly as well, because I know some lady will have a glass in their hand all night, and that is commendable, yeah. But I mean, some others would want to drink all night, and that's not good. Yeah. Having said that, you put up your valuables there. Maybe if you have a dog, is good security for anybody's home. Trust me, a dog is always a man's best friend. You have 1 or 2 dogs. Keep your lights on. Yeah. Make sure if you're going anywhere, you come out your vehicle is locked. Some people who have firearm tend to leave the firearm in the vehicle. Now, the firearm is for your personal protection, not for the vehicle protection. It's for your protection. You should have it on you. But there may be times when you go to places like the Victoria Park, for sure. You may be asked to leave it at the police. Now, the police is right there. Yeah? So when you leave it there, and when you leave in the park, you're just going to go back for it and sign for it, make sure that it's intact and everything like that. So those are some of the things that we really want. Make sure that the places, that the bushes around your neighborhood are properly pruned, cut, so that they can be visible. In case anybody try to break in your home, your neighbor could see, well, there's an unwanted person. If you think that you don't expect anybody in your home, say around 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the evening or in the night, people knocking on your door, you don't expect anybody, do not come out of the house. You could deal with that the next day. You could call somebody. If the pipe is turned on, people tend to go by person's home and turn on the pipe because they want somebody to come out. Let the water run. Yeah? You could pay the extra $5 for the bill, but make sure you go and complain to the relevant authorities. Maybe you can call a police, and the police could come and check it out for you. But you don't ever come out of that house to say, well, you're going to turn off the pipe. Somebody may be luring into something bad. Yeah?
Right. And my thing is, I just want to appeal to the public, right? We're in going into we're in the carnival season. And as well, the cricket is coming here, that we should keep it clean. Put down the guns, put down the knives, any sort of thing that can be used as a weapon, right? Let's keep it clean this carnival. Let's ensure that we have a good, safe carnival. We will have a lot of visitors coming to our shows. So let's just, just keep everything clean and decent for this carnival season.
Yeah, for sure. And we know too that minor crimes generally are down.
Okay.
I know minor crimes would be down about 110%, to be honest with you, because about 15 years ago, at CID, we used to record over 3,000 crimes. Now we record in just about 12 something per year. And that is a significant drop. What we are worried about is the knife crimes, the serious crimes, especially the gun crimes. And we don't manufacture guns here. So those it's a crippling issue for us, but it's something that we could deal with once we work together. And I know the gun amnesty appears to be reaping some fruits. And going forward, we hope that we could get a better working relationship with the public. Yeah, and it really would be for the safety of everybody.
Okay. All right, so we have come to the end of another Cop Chat program, a very informative one. I like these programs because I learn something new every time. All right, so I want to thank both Inspector Atlan Brown and Constable Ramon Smith for joining us this morning. And let's hope persons heed the words that you have shared with us as citizens to make your job a little bit easier, a whole lot easier for this cricket and carnival season.
Absolutely.
All right, so thanks again for being
thanks again for joining us today.
Thank you, Jeff.